Hi everyone, it's Professor Costa, and we're going to be talking about leadership today. So, you will all be graduating from nursing school at the end of August, or if I'm replaying this for a future semester, that you'll be graduating at the end of the semester. Yay! And you'll be stepping into a new role, that of a nurse leader. A nurse doesn't have to be a manager to be a leader. Remember that. You're going to be working with lots of different disciplines. You're going to be learning how to delegate. Even nurses at the bedside use leadership skills a little bit differently than a nurse manager, but you will all be leaders and you're going to be learning how to delegate and working with an entire team. So, are you a transactional leader? This type of person, does well in a caretaking role and really just does deal with the day-to-day stuff. Or are you a transformational leader? Now, this type of leader motivates followers to perform to their full potential and provides a sense of direction. A little bit more about this. Transactional leaders kind of use reward and punishment to gain the cooperation of their followers. One advantage of this is everyone knows exactly what they're dealing with. If I do X, Y, and Z, my reward will be, I get a pay raise, or I get paid in general, or I keep my job. Employees know exactly what is expected of them. But the motives for doing well are external, according to transactional leadership theory. So you aren't doing this from an internal motivation. You're doing it because you know what's expected. It's kind of really is a transaction. Like, if I do this, I will get this in return. Whereas a transformational leadership style, that's when a leader actively motivates people for a more internal motivation. So people want to do well. They feel like they want to transform the environment, do things better. It isn't just about a paycheck or doing something in a transaction type format. I hope that makes sense. So leadership styles. The three most common ones that you'll see in any textbook are laissez-faire, democratic, and authoritarian. And somewhere along the authoritarian side of the spectrum, you have bureaucratic. So depending on which textbook you're looking at, but three that you really should understand are the laissez-faire, democratic, and authoritarian. So an autocrat is, I'm the boss, you are the employees, I tell you exactly what to do. A really strong charge nurse would fall into this category. There is a definite clear separation between the leader and the team members, and it's very structured and very rigid. This isn't always a bad thing. People, oh my God, an autocrat. If you have a code situation with a patient, you absolutely are going to be following this leadership model. So a little bit more about that is an authoritarian exercises strong control over their subordinates, right? So yes, a nurse may become an autocrat when taking charge of a patient in a code situation. So you want one leader and you want very clear expectations. You want someone to tell you exactly what to do and when to do it. Democratic leadership. This is more of that give and take. So a little more creativity, more discussion. Everyone in the group is encouraged to give their ideas. Pretty productive, and shared governance kind of falls under this, where everyone meets together and is able to come up with policies and procedures. Well, shared governance is a little bit different, where the group actually makes the decision. And a democratic leadership, there's a lot of discussion, but ultimately there is a leader in control that makes the final decision. Right, so this works well with our interdisciplinary process at the hospital, right? So a nurse may be in charge during a shift and have multiple patient assignments, and then also work with other healthcare members to provide care. So you want to hear from all those other disciplines. You want to find out what's going on from their perspective, and everyone should feel like they have a voice. Right? And this style of leadership can also be used in unit council meetings where nurses collaborate together and come up with, problem solving. Laissez-faire. This one has a bad rap. And some people feel like the leader doesn't actually do anything. A laissez-faire leadership is the freedom for followers to make their own decisions on their own. So the one that comes to mind for me is the type of leadership that I have as an instructor. So where my boss doesn't go through my day-to-day operations, doesn't, I don't punch in and punch out. I'm expected to do my job, and I'm allowed the creativity in order to get that done. This is expected more of people with a lot more higher education. So laissez-faire, a nurse in a leadership position may use that for management of a nursing unit, but they have to be really highly trained and efficient. A good example would be a nursing team staff on an operating room. So they all have their roles defined and have become independent in those actions, and they don't need a manager double checking every single thing that they do. They've gotten very efficient at what they do, and so they don't need as much day-to-day supervision. Bureaucratic leadership is on the autocratic side here, and that's just the rules. So someone who, rules are rules, and we're going to do exactly everything by policy and procedure. A lot of leaders have, in a hospital setting, can be more of a bureaucratic type of leader. We do have lots of policies and procedures to follow. So just keep in mind that they want to follow the rules. They will automatically look at the policies and procedure. So this relates impersonally to staff and exercises power on the basis of established rules. So here are some qualities of effective leaders. I'm not going to read the whole slide, but I did pull up a little bit of research. So the author in a 2003 study identified 6 qualities of effective leaders. So I think these are nice things to think about as you go forth into our profession and become nurse leaders. So their integrity, dedication, magnanimity, humility, openness, and creativity. So integrity is the quality of having clear ethical principles and aligning one's actions with the stated values, right? Dedication is the ability to spend the time necessary to accomplish a task. Magnanimity, I can never say this word, magnanimity, means giving credit where credit is due, right? Telling people, giving people credit if they are the one that did the great job, then speaking out and not taking credit for things that you didn't do. Humility is the ability to recognize that no one is superior to another. This is a really important quality, especially when we start talking about delegation. Openness refers to the leader's ability to listen to other points of view without prejudging or discouraging them. So having that open line of communication where there's no stupid question. And creativity is the ability to think differently, outside the box. This allows the nurse leader to inspire followers and consider broader visions and goals. So part of being a transformational leader is being creative.